Welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is 0000 for the Nintendo Switch. Yeah. Not sure if that title is really denoting anything in terms of the game, but anyway, 0000 is a unique 1-bit lo-fi platformer that sets to challenge players in a plethora of levels that will require skill and careful maneuvering. Dodge, shoot, and jump your way through randomly selected levels as you progress or die. And since this is Nintendo Switch review, it's over to Galax to give us the lowdown on Quadruple Zero.
So yeah, for the most part, the game window is pretty small. Blowing it up just makes it look weird. You're a tiny dude in a tiny world where most things in it can kill you. There are spikes. There are lots of spikes. There are some enemies. There are things that shoot at you. There are things that shoot in general. You have a double jump and a gun, and that's pretty much your contribution to combat. Sometimes you have to shoot a thing and make it shoot and trick it to, because there are some blocks that are destructible and some that aren't. Everything is fairly clearly indicated by looking at it, in spite of it being very black and white. There are some platforms that fall when you stand on them, which is bad because there are almost always spikes under them. There are some places where there are platforms that flip from being there to not being there every time you jump. That kind of thing. Short form is that it's basically in the general vein of a masochist platformer. You can shoot, but there's often not a whole lot to do with your shooting. When there are enemies, you can shoot them, and you need to trigger some blocks by shooting them, but it's not like you're going to be running and gunning a whole lot. Which brings me to the extremely frustrating part, which is that something that Adam said that you might have missed over. The levels are not randomly designed or generated. They are set levels. What they are is randomly selected. When you're playing the game, you get a little thing on the thing that shows all 100 levels, and at each level, the way you complete a level is you get the coin, which usually involves avoiding basically all of the obstacles, and then you have to get to the door, which usually appears more than halfway back toward where you started, just to make you, avoid all the obstacles twice. The map of the 100 things, 100 levels, shows you all which levels you've gotten coins in, but you have no control over what level you go to. When you complete a stage, you go to a random stage. When you die, you go to a random stage, which is very frustrating when it's a level that you mess up on, and then you have to rely on random chance to get back to that stage. I get that that's what they're going for, and I believe once you've cleared a stage, you don't get that stage anymore. So eventually, but effectively, if you're not great at it, and I feel like the hit detection on the spikes is a little bit wonky sometimes, and your hitbox is very precise, and your controls are you have a hell of a lot of air when you jump and double jump, but some of it is a little bit floaty or slippy, so you don't always stop when you want to exactly. Or maybe that's just me being imprecise at it, but I had a hard time sometimes, and then I would die and then not be able to build up any experience on the challenge of a particular level on account of I just didn't get that level again until I'd forgotten it. So if that sounds like a good time to you and you really want to hone your like actual reflexes and not be able to memorize stuff conveniently, then I guess this is great for you, but I found that extremely frustrating. And I don't know if there's any music at all. I didn't hear any. I had it kind of low, but I don't recall any music.
It says there's a soundtrack here.
Okay, well, it didn't make any impression then.
Looking with an awesome electronic music soundtrack by Levy Bond.
Okay, I guess I had it down too low. I thought I had it on, but I guess I could have been mistaken.
This is what the PR says.
I'll boot it back up in a minute and turn my volume up a little just to verify.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, overall, basically, I don't care about the next level you go to being random, although it means that there's no like no difficulty curve. It's just difficulty whatever. It's a fairly flat difficulty curve, I think, but it's flat at a relatively challenging setting. But the real issue is that you can't try again when you failed. You get booted to some other stage. It does seem to not be entirely random. I think it boots you to a stage because I did revisit stages more often than 100 stages period suggests. Oh yeah, there's music. It's electronic. Yeah, and there are very like I'll say that this game is very good at making its obstacles recognizable. Like it's really easy once even the first time you see something, it's usually not too hard to figure out what it is. But the whole thing where you have to completely start over or you go to a random level when you die is just I just can't do that and have any success at the game. Especially since you're going to be dying a lot. It's not a forgiving game in any way at all. Aside from that, you have good air control of your double jump. Do you guys have any questions?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to this game, it seems. Which is, once again...
Yeah, you can save and quit, and what it saves is which stages you've completed, pretty much. And it keeps a time thing, so you can, like, try and time attack it, I guess, if you want to get really good. And if you save and quit, it says your time will be invalid. I just saw that, so...
Anyway, so as far as pricing goes, this game is $5.
I mean, that's a reasonable price for it if this sounds like a good idea to you at any price.
All right. And overall rating of the game?
Really hard to rate for me because I don't know, 6-ish, maybe 7. Like, what it's trying to do, I think it does a pretty decent job at. But what it's trying to do is very frustrating to people who are not great at platformers and rely on, like, learning a level preferably consistently rather than, like, friggin', oh, I remember this level that I last saw 5 levels ago. You know? Because, again, there are 100 levels.
Right. Like, how many levels did you get through?
I have completed 8 levels. I have gotten to the key, or gotten to the coin, on about 3 times that many, but then died on the way back.
All right. Like, I'm not sure.
I have experienced probably significantly over half of the levels. I just wasn't able to get all the way back because of spikes or whatever.
Duly noted.
I mean, this game, a lot of the time when you start a stage, it'll have a flashing square around your dude, which is important because your dude is fucking tiny. And yeah, you have to do a lot of loopy jumps up and around a thing. There's one stage that's actually one of the smallest stages I saw, is literally just that. And it's one of the ones that's actually in this preview roll. Where the whole level is just a very small room and you have to like curve your jump like 3 times around spikes and land.
Well, any other thoughts on 0000?
Not much. It's trying to be very simple, I think.
All right. Does it accomplish the goal of being simple?
Yes, but I think I would enjoy it more if it was a little bit less simple.
In what way?
Like if there was... I mean, the one bit is very serious. The squares in this game are like literally, I think, about 9 by 9 pixels, maybe less. So you have to look. If I don't know, if you're playing it on a big screen, I guess you'd be able to see better, but it's very like the sprites are really small, and I don't know, the hit detection is just a little bit weird sometimes, and that annoys me.
What is it, like off?
Not really off, but like the sides of spikes are deadly, and you don't always have perfect control when you're jumping and sliding. Let's see.
That sounds...
It's not terrible. But I think more than everything else, the fact that you don't actually get to practice on the same obstacle repeatedly is what's making it really hard for me to actually fully complete stages.
All right. So anything else?
Not really.
All right. So that'll about do it for 0000 here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing a shmup called Galaxy Warfighter.